It's the SDG Podcast. Before we get started, you can check us out on the web at solutiondesign.com/podcast or find us on all the social medias, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Solution Design Group.
All right, yes, we're back for another podcast. Hello, everybody. We got Chad Juttner with us today and Peter Lawrence.
Hey, Kyle.
And joining us once again, Eric Schneider.
Howdy.
And I'm Kyle Bacher, and we're going to talk about the big event again. We've talked about it before, but since we just had one on Tuesday, for those of you who don't know, the big event is a lightning conference in a jug, put on short presentations for one another, one night, 15 sessions in 3 rooms, all recorded, social hour, fun stuff. And we have 3 presenters. No, Chad did one. I did one. Eric did one.
Yep, that's 3.
4.
No.
Oh, I'm looking at myself. And then I'm counting myself over here. We have 3 presenters today. Eric, I watched your session this morning, and I thought it was fantastic.
Let's just leave it at that. Perfect record.
Yep. Chad, I watched a little bit of yours, and then I got lost by the tech stuff and fast forwarded. So it sounded pretty good, though.
Yeah, I did a really good job.
How was yours?
Right. How was mine?
How was yours? I didn't see it.
I watched mine, and I have a lot of notes for me.
You have notes? Oh, good.
I have notes. I thought it went okay. I thought I could have prepared better. And
how many minutes before the start of the food did you finish your presentation?
Probably 60 minutes, an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Peter is on the committee that puts on the event. You're not? Oh,
nope.
He has been for years. But still helps out.
I'm emeritus.
I've become kind of the AV guy for the stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. Chad, did you do a dry run?
No, I did I pulled a Bill O'Reilly. Everything that I did had to happen live. My day, the day of the big event was hectic. We had some issues that I had to take care of, and then literally 90 seconds before it was supposed to start is when I actually had the slides up and ready to go. So it went fine, right? I created too many slides just because I know last year I went a little short. But this year was
perfectly timed.
Honestly, it was. I do a slide a minute. That's what I shoot for. I think it went pretty okay. And I was one of the first presenters. I was in the very first.
Yeah, you were first
line of presenters.
A lot of fun. Now, I don't have a ton of fun during the event because I'm running around and setting stuff up, and it's a little stressful. I feel a lot of ownership, and I want things to go well. So, setting up computers, and I think people using their own computers this year was a really good idea.
It was perfect for 14 out of 15. You're
always going to have, whatever you do, however much you prepare, you're always going to have 1 or 2 things go wrong. So,
yep.
I heard some comments that this is the event people like the most. Now, one of those was me, but I still heard myself. So, the thing I really like about it is the variety of presentations. Bennett's on beekeeping. Did you guys see that one?
I saw it in the dry run. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I saw the thumbnails. I saw the outfits, which was fantastic.
I tell you, I want to keep bees, but I live in St. Louis Park, so probably not allowed to.
They have bees in St. Louis Park. There's bees everywhere.
Just go get a jar and go catch some.
There's just bees everywhere.
Yeah.
That was part of the presentation. You could do natural bees and just take whatever shows up.
Eric,
I appreciate that. Bennett brought his kid to the office. Toby, and I didn't watch Bennett's thing yet. Did Toby help with the presentation? Was there a
he
Toby
just helped
aspect?
Set up and tear down? And
okay. Well, that was also super cool. My role whenever I see a child in the office is to unload as much sugar and candy and Red Bull and everything else I can onto that child, and then just observe. And then I get to go home to a nice quiet house.
Yeah, you just keep your pockets stocked, right, Chad?
I actually, so I'm not even kidding. Like I did have, so the kid got Nerds Rope, donuts. What else?
You have donuts in your pockets?
I bring donuts. Yeah, I'm
Nice.
100% always ready to get a child loaded up on sugar.
Nice.
Yeah, it's I have stuff in my bag. I've got contingencies. I've got backup candy stashed in the office. We're always ready for it.
Musical instruments, fireworks. Yeah.
I do
All
have a
that
couple of spare
stuff.
whistles to give them. Then
Yeah.
parents love that.
The bane of parents. So
Yeah,
I
I
guess
do.
the lesson today is to keep Chad away from your kids unless you want them bouncing off the walls all hopped up on the sugar.
That will happen.
Yeah.
No,
So
but
Chad, you went first. You got to set up. You got to have all control over the space and get everything done. You said 90 seconds from go time, which is a little tighter than some of the other presenters went. And
So I know, I didn't perfectly time my presentation, but I knew I had about 20 minutes worth of content to fill, and we got there. The only hitch in that giddy up was since I didn't have time, like I had my personal laptop, my work laptop. I did not have. I just pulled up PowerPoint, and then I was going to switch to a live demo, but then all of my other stuff was up, so I actually had to unplug my laptop because I didn't know what I had in the background on my screen or what other apps being displayed. I didn't want to offend anybody. So easier for me to just unplug and share just a window. So that's what I did. And it went fine. It went good. The demo actually worked. The code actually worked for the most part. And it's a live site. People can go out and see it right now.
so I can get my concert calendar and check it out and find out what's going on.
Yep, we're gonna start. What we built for that was a kind of a foundation, and I'll start just adding to it.
What I would have done different is spent a little more time. I had a story I really had to tell that was kind of key to the whole thing. I raced to get to the story because I wanted to give it its due. But there was some tips and some things I wanted to show before that where I had the screen up and I kind of just glossed over it and moved on. And then when I was finished with the story, a couple minutes left, it's I could have spent more time on that. Mm-hmm. And instead I took that time to answer questions and stuff. But yeah. There's a lot to go into these types of things because you got 15 people speaking.
Yep.
And I don't know how many submissions we had. I think it was over 20 that
Definitely
wanted
over
to
20.
speak.
Yep.
Yeah. So the committee, they kind of wrangle everything. They put out the call for speakers, and then the day before the deadline, they all come in. And then they have the unfortunate job of who's going to speak, which means picking who's not going to speak. And but usually the reason why skip some folks is because it's not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to do the topic justice within 15 minutes. And it's they really want a longer presentation to happen. So
I submitted last year and got rejected, and that was the email I got was we just want you to know we rejected you, but it was because your topic was too good that we really feel like you need a full hour, so you should just find a different place to do your presentation that isn't the big event.
And did you follow through on it and get the presentation? See,
I did. And it was 2 hours of content, so they were right.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I submitted a couple ideas. They picked one of them and said the other one is probably more appropriate for a longer presentation that I'm going to try to set up for just before baseball season. So good feedback. They're right. It would have been too long. I think the other one will work out just fine. The one that they did worked out pretty well.
And I've been on that selection committee, and I've done the diligence and walk through, and you do well, this sounds like 6 hours of material, so maybe we can get them to do a full. And if they don't want to do a full one, that's fine. We'll still offer, because there's still an offer of if you only want to do 20 minutes, we'll make that happen, right? And that's the Presents Committee does that. Now, Eric, you caught me. I was full on expecting 20 minutes of WD-40 rant, and I didn't get it. That was a fun little twist there at the middle. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yep,
I wanted you to keep going on different products.
Those are all the ones I could think of that kind of fit the tone of the scheme of it. Because I actually had one extra product that we talked about in the Q&A, but somebody asked what did I delete or what didn't make the cut. We talked about rechargeable batteries, but that wasn't part of the presentation. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the purpose of the presentation was that engineering flow chart about, is it supposed to move duct tape or versus WD-40? That I hate that flow chart so much. So they're like, it's like one of my biggest triggers is anytime I see that online, and I recognize that it's a joke, but I can't. For some reason, it's just burned its way into my heart.
But I don't know that everybody recognizes the jokiness of it.
So Eric's presentation was really about there's better products than just duct tape and WD-40, and then included some additional products he talked about. Dryer sheet. If you summarize the whole thing, it's really about products that are marketed extremely well, irrespective of how good the product is. And I'm not like putting myself on the outside of this, because everything that's in the presentation I've used in my life. I was diehard on dishwasher pods. I thought Gorilla Glue looked amazing in the marketing.
It does.
So
I was all in on some of those products, and it's amazing how far products can go if the marketing is clever and interesting and engaging. It does a lot to sell something and get people in. And once people are using a product, it's you become very irrationally defensive about it. Right?
Well, and part of it is take WD-40 for example. It does do some of the things that they say it does. It just does them horribly, horribly poorly compared to other products that are made to do those jobs. And
made to last, because I've been using the same can of white lithium grease for the entire time I've been a homeowner, right? Because once you use it, you're done forever, for the most part. But if you use WD-40, you're going to keep coming back to it over and over again, because it's not going to do the job permanently.
Well, they make a small little can for you to walk around with.
Yeah, just holster it. So to a degree, you could almost argue that it's by design that it doesn't work well, and you got to keep coming back to it. But and I don't know why it's so deeply embedded in our culture. WD-40, it's so popular and everything. And duct tape too. And it's not like there's a brand of duct tape out there really pushing it. It's just part of our as Americans, it seems to be part of our cultural identity is duct tape.
Because I think it solved the problem at one point, but I mean, there's a couple of things that have gone on with it, right? The product itself has changed over time, right? It's not the duct tape from 1940 or 1930 anymore. Mm-hmm. That's more, gaffer tape is probably more close to duct tape from the original duct tape than duct tape is at this point.
Right. And just, material science and all that is advanced so far where, you can make a superior product that's provably better and better tested and all that. But it's hard to overcome that. The cultural aspect of it. And when I brought up gaffer tape, I saw a couple people nodding who are aware of it, but I think that's something that flies under the radar for a lot of people, is that there is a better version of that product.
Yeah, I've been just WD-40 forever on everything, and so that will change. There's a few things that I've been having to relubricate, like my truck door for some reason.
Right, because you're using WD-40, you're displacing all that water.
I am. It's all the good stuff. So Jason Scherschlicht, the gentleman that writes the Pollinator newsletter for us and does a lot of writing for our website, excellent writer. His session was on the power of the sentence, creating really good sentences, and he does a lot of prep, and he's very polished. It was really good. I enjoyed that one. I'm probably going to watch it again.
Yeah, that was one I was sad because I had to leave early to get home before my daughter went to bed. And I was sad I didn't get to watch it live, because it's a topic that I care about deeply. And there was a prior presentation from a prior big event about it included other things, but it had a huge impact on me, like not using the word but, just BUT, trying to avoid using but, because it in the certain sentence of the structure of a sentence, it really kind of closes off a lot of possibilities. And in a lot of uses, you could just swap but for and it's still what you intend to communicate, but leaves it more open. And so I'm really keen to see Jason's presentation once it gets posted.
The word but kind of negates everything that came before.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I was going to say, Chad, did you have any standouts?
Oh, sorry, Peter, go ahead.
I just wanted to hear Chad's standouts. What did you have that really stuck out for you?
Oh, I thought I was censoring myself when we were talking about butts. No, I enjoyed Bree's explanation of our new values. And she had merch. We actually got cards.
Oh,
I was in the same time slot, so I did not see hers yet, or harvest merch.
No, that was really neat. I enjoyed hers. She had merch and she had gift cards to get out if you could name one of them. So that's a thing that I'll have to include in mine next year is gift cards.
There you go.
They were Starbucks gift cards, right? So mine will be drink tokens. But that was, I go through I watch some of the other ones and I take little notes on like what I liked about it and try to incorporate that into what I do next year if I'm selected. And so that's absolutely going to be a thing that I do all the time now.
That's fun. Yeah, that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. Yeah, super neat. I tried to cheat on the thing because Jana was sitting right behind me. So as she was asking me about our new corporate values, I got one right away. I stumbled on the some of the last two, and I was trying to get Jana to whisper in my ear, what they are, because I do love coffee. So
now, did anybody see David Ellenberger's presentation on dog training? I think it was.
I did.
I saw it twice. It was so good.
You saw the dry run and the full run?
Yeah, because I was right after him. I wanted to be there because sure I was ready, but yeah, it was interesting because and it's fun too because both like I'm a cat owner, not a dog owner, so it's good to peer into that world because they're not the same, right? The rules of the two are so it's fun to both peer into that, but also I've never lived in an apartment as an adult and that too, so that the whole makeup of having an apartment and a dog and the challenges of that and everything it's very interesting to me.
That was and I couldn't have imagined it going better than it did. I mean, the dog was a puppy, yet wasn't like a torrential storm inside the room, distracting everyone or anything like that. It was very well behaved, and it made the presentation even more successful, I thought, just because of the consistency training, etc. I mean, it helped that he had a giant bag of treats that he kept the puppy busy with, and a bone at the beginning too. But either way, it was an amazing presentation, and got to see a dog. How cool is that?
So Chad, yeah. Next time, gift cards.
Oh yeah.
Puppy.
Gift cards. I mean, I think I've got all of these bases covered. I will bring my dog. I will have gift cards, and merch. This doesn't seem hard.
Yeah, just include all that in the title too. Is draw people in.
Yeah, there's going to be you'll get
dogs, gift cards, and merch.
You'll get to meet Otis. There'll be drink tokens and yeah. No, I think that'll go over well. I don't see how that could possibly go wrong.
We'll have 3 tracks, and we'll have the Chad Jutner Lounge.
Ooh, there we go.
I have actually wanted a space named after me. That's one of my career goals is to do this well enough that either an award or an area is named after me, as long as that area isn't a toilet. So that would be great.
Well, I guess we'll have to think a little bit harder now that you mentioned that.
Peter, do you know how many of these we've done now?
I believe this was at least 9, if not 10, and then we may have slipped past the 10-year anniversary mark without celebration of it. But
yeah,
because I thought we were on 9 last year, but it's the big event, and it happens every year. So
yeah, I look at the kind of the growth of it over time. And, some cool things that happened that we did. One thing was early on, we were focused on kind of more serious technical topics and things like that, and kind of segued into a something for everyone event,
right?
Where we try to make sure that, I guess there's something for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. I look at it like a cellular map. We want to make sure there's coverage that covers everybody because it's not all developers and it's not all, technologists and things like that. So the fun ones, I think, really give it the flavor and texture to make it a really cool night. Going into it, you don't really know what you're walking into as just a passive viewer. You see the descriptions and stuff, but until you see the sessions and Bennett wearing his beekeeping outfit,
right,
and having all of the props and the whatnot. And I got a jar of the honey. So I'm looking forward to that.
Man.
And
did you get Bennett honey or Bennett's dad's honey?
I got Bennett's dad's honey.
Okay.
Because he wanted to give a jar to his CM.
Nice.
And so he gave her the good stuff. But I'm fine with that.
I don't even know which one of the two was the good stuff.
I don't either.
And I didn't hang
There
out.
was the thicker, darker one was his, and then I got the runnier, lighter one. So different bees,
it was the other way around.
Different area. Yeah, but that was, that one was like, I think I could do this based on his presentation. I believe that I know enough to where I could start a bee colony, and actually make honey. It is tempting. But I don't like bees, and I don't like getting stung. I fear the bees.
Yeah, but I need to talk to him because we're not trying to do like beekeeping for honey like he is, like that extreme, but we have like a bee house in our garden where we've tried to get bees to like move in, and it's just for pollination, right? Because we have all the like flowers and plants, everything that need to be pollinated. So we need bees to make that work. And so we tried to just have bees in our garden. They come from wherever they live, but it'd be nice if they lived at our place. So it's just like a little house, but I haven't been very, very successful in them staying the season. So I should talk to Bennett and see if there's a way to like draw them in or get them to move in or whatever. Because I don't want to like buy bees or anything like that. I want to just figure out how to get them to move in.
Right.
You would need a queen or pheromones. And what if they sell them in a jar?
Yeah. That's the thing is I don't think, because we're not looking for like a whole colony that grows. It's just, like a small amount of them where that's kind of like where they hang out.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think, like if you're going queen or pheromones, you're getting the whole colony versus having just sort of you want to have the rest stop crew that stop in exactly. for a little shade and some water and head on out, keep on working.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing that surprised me was the lack of AI in our big event. Not to create it, but there was only obviously we have two out of the three represented here, but there were only 3 presentations that really went for AI.
I believe, I did one of them.
Right.
But I think the trick now with presentations or talks around AI is actually tying it to something more fun than AI.
Like videos?
I think there's a lot of like AI fatigue right now.
Okay.
And so unless you can actually talk about AI and put it into like a real world context that people can connect with, I think those talks are going to have the potential to become more and more boring, right? Like I still enjoy it. I think it's great. Actually using it and see magic happen, which is part of what I don't know that it was. I don't know that I've articulated it well in my presentation, but under the covers, like genuine magic happened with AI, and that was neat. And then the content of it was. Who doesn't love going to concerts, and who doesn't love moms, right? So the way we talk about AI, I think, kind of needs to change a little bit because it's been more than 2 years now, and I think everybody sees an AI presentation and just kind of rolls their eyes and wants to be excited about.
Well, I think the early adopters may have early adopted a little too early, and so fatigued some folks with not necessarily the results that they were hoping for.
Well, I think the free versions have also been lackluster in comparison to the ones you pay for. So they might not have, a willingness to, they want to try before they buy, but what they're trying is not what they're going to be buying. I tried to, what you're talking about, Chad, is what I was attempting in my presentation. I tried to not be technical on purpose, but tell a story of how I used AI and had a really good experience of it, and a little bit about the prompting and stuff, but really about just getting in there and using it. And I did a poll in the room, and I was really surprised at how few people are currently using it and how few people are paying for it. So I think that getting the message out, showing people use cases to where this will actually help you do your job. This will help you and save time and improve the quality of your output, things like that. So I think, presentations on specific use cases and outcomes, and then dispelling some of the myths, outlining some of the things that don't work very well with AI, because it's really an iterative process when you're creating content. It's not just a prompt and an answer.
What were you going to say, Eric?
I was going to say, there's the fatigue for me too is like, a new each company will release their new model. Oh, it got a 98 on this benchmark instead of the other company got a 97. Like, great.
Yeah.
That helps me a lot.
Aren't those both a
sort
grade
of
of
leveling
A?
off?
Yeah, and even the benchmarks themselves are kind of boring. Like I don't want to learn about what the benchmark is benchmarking anymore. I don't know. I mean, DeepSeek was fun because, we've been talking about it for AI for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden somebody did something new and kind of made a lot of people look a little foolish for their approach to AI, and that's always kind of fun when you can point and laugh and be like, look at this. But even that then is now again kind of, I don't know, boring. Not boring, but like I don't get excited about Java anymore, right? Or a new Java framework or any new framework really, because we had so many of them so early on that it was...
You're fatigued.
It wears out. So I'm excited to see another presentation similar to what I did, where they actually take AI, put it into something, and say like, here's like the actual like magic under the covers. Until that happens, I don't know that I need to see another demo of an AI tech stack. Probably will. But
Eric, you were saying something?
Oh yeah, I guess the only benchmarks I found interesting is some of the ones where it's around a benchmark where it's something that humans do easily, like Reddit, like without a problem, a child could do this, and current models can't handle it at all, like have no capacity for it. So sometimes those are fun to look into and see progress there, where it's kind of an untapped corner of what the capability is, instead of like you're saying, like this year we got 1% better at this one thing that it could already do.
That is interesting to see where its real shortfalls are in you may be passing the Turing test, but you're not passing the toddler test or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Well, I think there's an adoption that still has yet, like an adoption wave that still has to happen yet on a lot of this stuff. There's so much of the conversation is on the technical side. There's no audience for it that's just a regular information worker that wants to do something. There's a lot of things you can do with it. There's a lot of ways to use it, and I don't think people understand all those ways, like to be able to upload a PDF and ask questions about it. And so that's where I see the gap on the user side of things. But yeah, like you're saying, the differences now are minor. And it's all, the new version of Grok. What is it? Grok 3, DeepSeek. Every week it changes. Something happens. Every week something changes and grabs focus and then moves on. And if you subscribe to a lot of these newsletters and stuff, and it's overwhelming and hard to really understand and keep up with.
Speaking of overwhelming and technical, Nathan Osley did a video game modding one, and I'm just kidding. It wasn't overwhelming and technical. It was great. The parts of it that I was able to see, I got interrupted. I will say I put on 7,000 additional steps to what my normal day is working at the big event by running between the 3 different rooms and making sure all the technical stuff was working as well as it could be. But Nathan did a really good job of getting it started, and I haven't finished watching it yet, but it's an interesting take. And Chad, were you in Paul's?
I was. He had one of the last talks of the day, right? Around Agile.
Did you feel like he may have covered some of the ground that we had covered and maybe got the same reaction?
I enjoyed Paul's talk very much. Can I just say that?
You sure can.
Okay,
of course. Of course.
That's what I'll say. I enjoyed Paul's talk very much. I enjoyed Paul very much. And he presents well. He's a lot more polished in his presentations than I am. He put on a good show.
He might have practiced.
He might have practiced.
He cheated and practiced.
Yeah.
Speaking of practice, Eric, did you practice at all?
It did mostly because I had ended up with 65 slides.
Wow.
Yeah, which is way off pace for Chad's. What did you say? A slide a minute?
Slide a minute, yeah.
And I was like, well, I need to figure out if this is 80 minutes of content or 20 minutes of content, and yeah. So it was intentionally fast paced partially because I just had that much content to churn through. But yes, I did have to do a couple runs just to time it out, see if I could hit that magic 17 minutes.
If your presentation is 15 minutes of stop motion animation, it's probably too long.
Now, so Eric, you went long on this. Like you put a lot of slides. So for me, 20 slides was an incredible amount, because I'm of the opinion that I disagree with a couple of people. Other people disagree with me on this, but PowerPoint should just be like this visual cue thing, and not like, I'm not packing every slide with lists and dense text and everything else. It should be a picture, an idea, and you're here for the show, which is me, not the PowerPoint deck, right? Which is just like, I don't know, something pretty to look at other than me while you're watching a presentation.
Yeah, so that's exactly my sentiment of like, a lot of it was like punchlines of jokes and things. So I say 65 slides, a lot of it was just jokes, right? Like I have the title card in there 3 times, and I thank you slides in there multiple times, and stuff like that, where just sort of like messing with the format a bit. And so like you said, it's like some of the slides are only staying up for like 1 second because it's the punchline to a joke, and then we're moving on, right? So I agree.
That way it's, if it's complementary to what you're doing, but it doesn't replace what you're doing, and it's not your script, which I kind of cheat, because sometimes I find myself reading the slides and
not having a lot of them,
they're just up there to kind of a visual of what I'm talking about. That's what I try to do. I decided, though, after this year, that I'm either going to or help run the event, but I'm not going to do both.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. I know I was trying to fill in as much as I could, but it's still not perfect. I know that.
The recording aspect of it adds some overhead. The fact that we're hybrid, you got folks at home tuning in.
Yeah.
Chad, did you have a lot of interaction from the people that were at home?
I didn't look. I don't know that Mr. Shui was helping me. I don't know that there was many questions. There was some interaction with the folks in the room. But as far as the folks that weren't in the room, I mean, I've got my PowerPoint deck up full screen. I'm not going to see that. So if there was I didn't see it. I don't think I did, right? Like, I don't think I'm trying to remember, because it seemed to go pretty quick. No, I think all the questions I had were in the room.
Yeah, Eric,
somebody wanted to fund my product. That was great.
Oh, there you go. Eric, did you get many online interactions?
I wasn't in the Teams meeting, so I didn't see it directly. Randy was running it, and so when we had the Q&A time, there were a couple questions from the audience, but so I don't know if there were questions in the chat or not.
Kyle, how about you?
Stephen asked me, how do I know when it's hallucinating? And I did a really bad job of answering that question.
Okay.
The stuff I did, I know when it's hallucinating when I'm creating images. And so that's what I kind of default to, was when you don't want someone to have a beard, and it says, okay, here's that person without a beard, and they have a big beard, and it's, yeah, okay, you're high. That's it. I'm out.
I think it's easiest to just assume that it is all the time. Like, every answer is hallucinated, and just check.
Yeah, that's one thing was it's output. It's not answers. It's going through this whole pachinko, and then it's coming out, and it's like, okay, is this an answer or is this a distraction? I used it today to look up some Nintex stuff. Got it wrong.
It created future Nintex or past Nintex?
Through all the wrong answers, I figured it out on my own.
Oh, there you go.
But it was just, date. I don't know why dates are so difficult for
dates are hard
to do.
Dates are hard. They just are. They're just hard.
Like who here can tell me the actual rule for whether or not it's a leap year?
I can tell you most of it. Is divisible by 400 is not a leap year. Is divisible by 100 is, except if it's 400 and every 4 years. It's close, but I'd still have to go look it up.
You know a lot more than most people, because I think most people, obviously, they know that every 4 years. Maybe you were alive long enough to wonder why it wasn't a leap year in the year like 2000 or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, but then like you said, then there's a third rule that you probably won't encounter.
Right.
So
like leap century or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, then leaps, and there's leap seconds too. So there's all that nonsense. So it's like, which time metric are you even using? Because what is a year? The Earth goes around the sun, but from where to where, and all that. Like, there's time is ridiculous, and the like library that everyone uses for like time and time zones and all that, like the TZ data, is one of those, like, it's that XKCD joke of like one open source library propping up your entire stack. I'm pretty sure it's just like some guy is meticulously maintaining that as like some countries, like every 4 years when a new leader comes in, they change the standards back and forth and back and forth. You know, they have to.
I'm on metric time. I just decided. All right, gentlemen, as we wind down here, any parting thoughts about the big event?
I think we should do it again next year. It was fun.
Yeah, I think we got a good shot of that happening, right? Yeah, I think the doing it again. Yeah. Warm weather big event would be fun too.
You know, that
would
would
nature hike, go run our toes through the grass.
There's been talk about a mid-summer big event. I would like that. We'll have to think about that.
It's a little more challenging with scheduling and with getting people to want to leave their fun outside adventures for
do the little
3
event,
hours.
just one track, 5 speakers.
I say, yeah, this slightly less big event.
It's funny. We always talk about how hard it is to schedule. In the winter, it's hard to schedule because people have kids and school and activities, and in the summer, people have outside and no activities. I don't know.
It's true. It's just hard to schedule people.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of neat to do a second one.
Late August, maybe mid-August, when it's really hot out and people are tired of humidity in summer and all that. I love it. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love what it means to other people. The output we get for the work we put into it, I think, is huge. I think every company should do a big event. And
they should.
It brings people together and knowledge sharing. There's just nothing bad about it except when it doesn't work. Yeah. So
I can guarantee that this is the most that our employees have talked about furnace filters ever.
Yeah, that's true.
I got to watch that again to figure out what kind that was. Thank you, gentlemen. I think we'll shut her down and say goodbye, everybody.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Solution Design Group is a digital product consultancy in Minneapolis. Check us out on the web at solutiondesign.com or look for us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Solution Design Group.